Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and this time I'm playing in the Tier 10 British heavy tank, the FV215b. This is a bonus video, so I wouldn't usually be doing a video on a Wednesday, but as I did a tank review in this vehicle yesterday and I had lots of great games in it, I felt like I wanted to keep the video at about half an hour for my tank review, and so this is a freebie for you guys then you can use to decide whether you think this tank is maybe worth grinding for, or some more examples of the tank in strong positions and why it is such an awesome beast for just ripping apart opponents with that 6.9 rounds a minute rate of fire on this 120mm and some of the best gun handling you can get, as well as also being a side scraping monster. But quite a few of the comments yesterday disagreed with me, but hopefully I'll show you why I do like this machine as a side scraper. So we're in a very nice matchup here, only 3 tier 10 tanks on the enemy team. But there are some good players in their tier 10 tanks as well, so we're going to have to watch out for that E100. Also, I'm in the fortunate situation of there being no artillery on the enemy team, and so that means that I can use unconventional hold down locations such as this. I bet you that E100 didn't expect to find me here. Now, if there was artillery on the enemy team, this position would be absolutely awful. It would get demolished. By sitting here, you'd usually have no hit points a couple of minutes into the game, because the artillery will just locate either into this location or even come a little bit deeper down towards you and just be able to sling shots into you. Really, the only safe locations if there's a large amount of artillery on the enemy team will be over here around this corner, where you see the majority of our tanks. But they've gone there without reading the enemy matchup. I've noticed there's no artillery, and so I can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. So far we've already blocked 1,660 damage that we received. That's the first round that did damage to us. In fact, it was a heat round going into the weak point on top of the turret that I was highlighting. We're not really using our gun depression in the tank here, and so that means that we're not... By not using the gun depression, you make the angle on the top of the tank not fantastic, and so large caliber guns firing heat rounds like that E100 are going to challenge the top of the vehicle. Nevertheless, we're doing some great work here. 2,010 damage done. Unfortunately, that one doesn't quite hit the lower plate of the WZ-111-14. But maybe we can hit the Centurion. Oh, that wasn't a good shot. He was pulling back around the corner way before I fired there. Bit of a misplay by me. Hopefully we can make up for it. Yeah, slam dunk right into the lower plate of the WZ-111-4. And another round hits our tank, doing absolutely no damage to us. The turret armor on this tank is truly something awesome. It's not like we're miles away from our opponents here. We're only about 250 meters away from them. But the FV215b is just performing admirably. So I don't want to stay still for very long when that E100 is firing those heat rounds at me. But apart from that, I'm not too worried. I can't really penetrate the turret armor of the E100 reliably at this kind of distance with my AP rounds. And so now you see me loading my first APCR round of the game as we hear the E100 sling another heat round towards our tank, luckily hitting the rock in front of us. Will that E100 come out again? We're just going to have to wait and see. With the APCR rounds, I can easily go through his turret armor, but the 0.33 accuracy on this tank, that was some bad luck there. 0.33 accuracy, usually I'd feel like you were going to hit the cheeks of the E100 with that shot, but we weren't very lucky indeed. Now just patience, waiting for our opponents to hopefully expose more of their vehicle. Well, not too much patience. Pop out, 1.9 seconds aim time, and excellent gun handling allow us to just pretty much fire at the 100 accurately as soon as we've stopped. And he, I guess, felt like he needed extra time, even though he was the one who was out there to get that 150mm heat shell off towards us that does no damage. So that's 10 hits we've received so far this game. 4,390 damage blocked, and it was just only one heat round for that 818 damage that managed to actually go through our tank. One thing that's interesting here is that even though we can see lots of what looks like penetration holes on top of the tank, that's actually where they've hit the viewports and just done absolutely nothing apart from a critical hit and no damage. Almost the equivalent of when somebody shoots your tracks at an angle like this and does no damage to your tank. So I'm worried about the fact that we've lost the northern flank of this map, that E75 AMX 5100 and Lorraine 40T going to be pressing in towards the base. And so I've taken it upon myself to go back because I didn't know if this Type 61 on 24% of his hit points as well as the T34 were going to be able to handle those 2 tier 9 tanks and 1 tier 8, possibly with support from the WZ-111-14 and also the VK4502A. So how are we going to handle this situation? Well, we're pretty much bigger than the opponents. We got better rate of fire than them. More DPM, we should be able to handle ourselves just fine. And when we get ambush shots into a Lorraine, just like that, well, it's going to go even better for us. 386 damage done, and the Type 61 above me finishes him off just before we manage to reload. The rate of fire on this tank might be excellent, but it's not quite that good. I think you'd have to be in a T57 heavy to be able to take that tank out faster than the Type 61 was able to finish him off. So, one tank down. Now we just have to worry about the E75 and the 5100. We don't really have any information about what the E75 or the 5100 were on with regards to their hit points, so we're just going to have to wait to find out. We know that the VK is down to about half of his remaining hit points, but really a VK4502A, unless he's firing APCR rounds, isn't going to even come close to challenging the front of this vehicle, and so I only have to worry about not exposing my weak side armor to that tier 8 German heavy tank. Of course, the VK4502A is a bit like a medium in a way and has great mobility for a heavy, so we've got to watch out that he doesn't flank us. We're trying to find a shot here on the 5100, and there's the back of an E75. Maybe the shell was a little low. I wanted to track him, but it didn't quite work out for us. Now I'm loading a Hess shell. This was a mistake. As we can see, I only do 33 damage with the Hess shell there, and proceed to load AP again. The Hess shells on this tank may have 120mm of penetration, but there isn't really a part on the E75 that is that thin, and so you're not going to be able to go through him with high explosive rounds. Good round into the back of this tank, another one into the side, and unfortunately for us, he catches us in the side of the vehicle, but just check out the difference in the rate of fire between these tanks. We track him, and we should be able to reload in time, so hopefully finish him off before he manages to get us. Yeah, the Type 61 just does it again. That little cheeky bugger above us, guys. He's picked up 2 kills that I felt certain that were for the FV215b. Talk about doing 4,808 damage and having not picked up a kill in this kind of a game. That's unusual, but I'm not complaining. There's still more than enough tanks and health on the enemy team for me to go round at least the 5 remaining tanks that we have. So the VK4502A wasn't spotted. Not sure what took a shot at us there, but we did manage to ricochet another round, now putting the damage blocked by our armor at over 5,000. So I decided that I don't want to advance down here. For all I know, the Jagdpanzer E100 could be on the ridgeline here. That T54 might be wanting to fill us full of heat rounds, and the VK4502A is likely going to be spotting for those 2 vehicles. The 5100 on this corner, I think he's my next target. I want to go back down the alleyway that we started the game off on and go and see if we can pick up some more kills at long distances. I really don't mind sniping at tanks in my FV215b. Fair enough, quite often tanks will have higher alpha damage than you, especially like the Jagdpanzer E100, and pull back round the corner after you fired, and then they can out-trade you, which isn't good. But still, I don't mind sniping because we've shown just how good the armor is in this replay, and also the precision, the low aim time. The great gun handling on this tank does allow you to put round after round after round accurately at your opponents. Hopefully one into the 5100 here. Great shot, sneaking one right through that gap. Hesh round there, however, we only managed to track him. If we'd fired an AP round there, perhaps we would have done damage, hitting the side of his tank and taking off his track as well. Still 190 damage, not quite the 400 that we could have had. But there was a chance, of course, that we were going to one-shot that fellow there. If we'd rolled slightly high and penetrated his tank, he could be dead. Whereas there was absolutely zero chance that an AP round would ever be able to take him out in a single shot. And that's why I loaded Hesh there with the 515 alpha damage that those rounds get. Now I'm going to slowly come around the corner, and this is the problem of having a rear-mounted turret. Quite often your opponents are going to be able to see the front of your tank before you're going to be able to see them. Here we go. Sixth Sense should pop off right now, and I don't even spot. So that means it's very likely that the Jagdpanzer E100 saw probably the front part of my tank as I went round the corner, and luckily I didn't fully commit, and my commander and his intuition saving the day there. Wouldn't quite like to risk my health. 1,050 average damage that Jagdpanzer E100 will do to our tank, and we have 1,100 hit points just over left. That's not really going to work out very well. So I'm deciding that I'm going to advance up here and snipe instead. Don't want to go down a corridor against a tier 10 German tank destroyer. But that 5100 has come back up now. Now the 5100 is down to a point 356 where we're actually going to be able to take him out. I get spotted again, probably from my left from the T54 or the VK4502A, perhaps also the 5100, and so I use this rock to avoid taking shots from my left. From this position, it's very likely that our opponents are going to be situated along here, and you've got to consider that as soon as you go out around these kind of rocks that you're going to get shot, and getting shot in the side of the FV215b is never a good idea. This isn't like a Soviet heavy tank where you can just shrug off shells that hit the sides of your vehicle sometimes. This is a weakly armoured British Tier 10 heavy tank that isn't very resilient. So this Jagdpanzer 100, are we going to find a shot into him? Oh my word, look at that. He puts one right into the top of our tank. Great shot there. He's above us, meaning that we don't have quite so good angling. Now we load some APCR rounds and we put one through the superstructure of his tank when he's not angling it, and when he's angling his tank downwards like this, we've got nice easy shots right through his vehicle. We managed to squeeze out a couple more rounds, and now we hopefully can take out the VK4502A. Great accuracy there of this tank, managing to shut him down, 0.33 accuracy. A great result, but now I'm locked down by a Jagdpanzer 100. I'm worried that maybe the Tiger II isn't going to win his duel against the 5100, but he does have a large amount of hit points, and it is in fact a T-34 from base that manages to shut down that Tier 8 French heavy tank. So let's see what this Jagdpanzer 100 is going to do. Is he going to take a swing at us? We need him to miss so we can escape. I'm also trying to reverse my way. There we go, he misses, hits the dead Type 5 heavy in front of us, and I don't even bother shooting at him. I'm thinking that if I don't fire right now, he's probably not going to be able to see me, and I want to escape. I want to get myself back into the corner because I don't like being stuck next to that tank. So I'm hoping that maybe the T-34 in our base is going to progress. We've only got 3 minutes left to take out 2 tanks. We spotted the T-54 a while ago. We haven't seen him recently, but that Jagdpanzer 100 is still on 589 hit points, and that means that I have to penetrate him at least twice to be able to take him down. We're on 5,840 damage, but that's not enough to win this game. We're going to have to vanquish our opponent in the Tier 10 German tank destroyer. So the T-54 has been spotted, and he doesn't seem to be doing very much. Does that in fact mean he's AFK? Well, I have to try and get some side shots on this Jagdpanzer 100. I hear he fires. Did he do damage? It looks like he might have damaged the Tiger II. And I come out around the corner, and I decide with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the game, I have to commit. Not very good driving here. Remember, this is patch 9.10, and so that means that the corners are very sticky, unlike the modern physics changes. It looks like that Jagdpanzer 100 was moving back to come and get a shot on me, but I can't stop now. I have to progress. I'm all in. We can't really lose this game. There's no way that the Jagdpanzer 100 will kill the T-34, and so right now I'm either playing to draw or I'm playing to win. Will the Jagdpanzer 100 penetrate us? We bounce off him. Yes, he hits our lower plate / tracks, doesn't manage to go through. We put one up into his superstructure. Remember, because he's angling down towards us, his superstructure is the weakness. Now he's crested the ridgeline. That makes his lower plate the weakness. You've always got to think about the angling on your opponent's armor and trying to shoot at the flattest plate. Now I guess I was lucky that I didn't die there. That Jagdpanzer 100 might have been able to take me out, but again, it was a case of when you've only got 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the game now, maybe the T-54 would come back from being AFK, he could run away, and there was no chance that this T-34 was going to die. There was no way that the Jagdpanzer 100 was going to kill 4 tanks with the amount of time that he had remaining, even if he probably got an ammo rack. And so right now, this is a lovely situation. Okay, great, I missed an AFK tank. Now I load a Hesh round. We got 3 rounds left of the Hesh. Right through the side, 508 damage, where these Hesh rounds do come in lovely. What, shooting AFK tanks? Oh, hew. And a great result here, taking down the victory with just under 7,000 damage done and a couple of kills. So well played to my team for putting the pressure up on our opponents here. I've seen these kind of games end up in a draw all too often, as I'm sure that you guys have as well. I was exceedingly happy to take down the victory in my Tier 10 British heavy tank here, the FV215b, and hopefully it gave you guys a bit more of an insight into this absolute DPM monster. So let's just take a very quick look at the post-game stats. So this experience happened during a 5 times event, 9,265 for our 5 times. We picked up a steel wall and a Confederate as well. We managed to block 4,600 damage here, 18 rounds hitting our tank and only 3 penetrating, giving us a potential damage received of nearly 7,000. We had to fire pretty much all of the rounds in our tank apart from 3 this game, hitting 26 out of the 32 that we fired and 20 of those penetrating. And I had to fire a lot of APCR rounds this game, so I was quite surprised that we didn't actually lose credits, making 13,000. And hopefully this bonus video further clarifies what I was trying to highlight in the tank review yesterday, that the FV215b has a monstrous DPM, some of the best gun handling in the game, and enough frontal armor to be able to get through the battle to dish out the punishment. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if for some reason you guys didn't see my full tank review on the FV215b, then simply click through up there and go through to a plethora of replays on the Tier 10 British heavy tank. And as you guys can see, I have a new clamp for my microphone which allows me to get it in a better position, so hopefully that's reduced the echo. But do let me know using the poll in the top right hand corner of your screen if it's better or worse than this headset microphone, this old trusty headset microphone that I've been using for the last few years. Don't worry, I'm still going to be using this for my live streams as this isn't very convenient, but I thought for my YouTube videos where it's not so intense, that this might provide a better experience for you guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.